There is a hidden system behind every act of self-sabotage, and high performers who break through it share one thing in common. They saw it before it destroyed them. Most people never do. Here's what that looks like in real life. You have been working towards something for months, maybe a promotion, a relationship, a business launch, and then, right at the edge of having it, you blow it. You miss the deadline. You start a fight. You drink too much the night before the pitch. You tell yourself it was bad luck. It wasn't. In 1984, psychologist Gay Hendricks began documenting a pattern in his therapy clients. Highly intelligent, motivated, capable people who kept collapsing at the finish line. He called it the upper limit problem, and once you understand the system behind it, you will never look at your own behavior the same way again. Stay with me, because the answer is not what you expect. Before we go deeper, let me show you why this is not a minor personality quirk you can just push through with more discipline. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people with high achievement motivation, meaning people who actively want to succeed, were statistically more likely to engage in self-handicapping behaviors right before high-stakes performance moments. Not less likely, more. Read that again. The people who want it most are the ones most likely to sabotage it. This is not about laziness. This is not about confidence. This is a neurological and psychological response system that activates specifically when success is close. And if you do not understand the 3 layers of why it happens, you will keep blaming yourself for something your brain is literally wired to do. That blame, by the way, makes it worse. So let us pull this apart layer by layer. The first layer is behavioral, and it is the one most people stop at. You procrastinate, you overindulge, you create drama right before a breakthrough. A client of mine, let us call her Nadia, spent 3 years building her design agency. In February 2022, she landed her biggest client ever, a $200,000 contract. 2 weeks later, she ghosted them, did not return calls, missed the kickoff meeting, lost the contract entirely. When I asked her why, she said she had no idea. She felt paralyzed. This is what self-sabotage looks like from the outside. Avoidance, numbing, chaos creation. Most productivity advice tells you to just build better habits, use a planner, set a timer, do the hard thing first. And none of that touches what was actually happening inside Nadia. Because at this layer, the behavior is just the symptom. The real problem is 2 levels deeper, and here is where it gets genuinely strange. Layer 2 is emotional, and this is where most therapists begin and most YouTube videos end. Your nervous system learned something very early in life. It learned what level of success, love, happiness, or visibility felt safe. Not what was possible, what felt safe. Psychologists call this your window of tolerance for positive experience. And yes, that is a real clinical term. Research from Dr. Daniel Siegel at UCLA, published in his 2010 book, The Mindful Brain, describes how early relational experiences literally wire neural pathways that regulate not just pain, but joy. Your brain does not just protect you from threat. It regulates positive emotion the same way a thermostat regulates temperature. When good things exceed the set point, when success gets too big, when love feels too secure, when visibility gets too bright, your system reads it as danger, not opportunity. Danger. So it pulls you back. It creates an emergency. It manufactures a reason to fail. This is not metaphor. This is measurable neurological regulation. But even this is not the root. Go 1 level deeper and it gets uncomfortably personal. Layer 3 is identity. And this is the one that changes everything when you finally see it. Here is the question your subconscious is actually asking every time you approach a big win. Do I deserve to exist at this level? Not consciously. You would never say that out loud. But underneath the procrastination, underneath the nervous system dysregulation, is a core belief about your fundamental worthiness to occupy the space that success would put you in. In 2016, researchers at the University of Waterloo published findings showing that people with high self-doubt engaged in deliberate self-sabotage not because they feared failure, but because success felt like a lie they could not sustain. They would rather fail on purpose than succeed and feel like a fraud. Dr. Pauline Clance first named this in 1978, imposter phenomenon, and her original paper recorded it across 150 high-achieving women. Not low performers, high achievers, people who had already won. They sabotaged future wins because winning felt false. Because somewhere inside, the identity had not caught up to the achievement. And until it does, the sabotage will keep coming. Every single time. Here is what almost every productivity coach and motivational speaker gets catastrophically wrong about this. They treat self-sabotage as a discipline problem. They tell you to want it more, to visualize harder, to journal your goals every morning and say affirmations in the mirror. And for some people, in mild cases, that creates enough surface momentum to keep going. But if your upper limit is deeply wired, those tools are like painting over mold. It looks better for a while, then it comes back worse. What they also miss is this. The sabotage is not irrational. It is logical within the internal system your brain built to keep you safe. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do based on information it collected decades ago. The problem is the information is outdated. You are running a protection protocol written when you were 8 years old in a world that no longer exists. And telling yourself to just be stronger does not update the code. You need a different kind of intervention, which brings us to the full picture. Put all 3 layers together and here is the complete mechanism. At the surface, you display avoidant or destructive behavior right before a breakthrough. Below that, your nervous system is firing a false alarm because positive experience has exceeded its regulated threshold. And at the root, a core identity belief is telling you that the version of you who succeeds does not actually exist, or does not deserve to. These 3 layers do not operate independently. They reinforce each other in a loop. The behavior confirms the belief. The belief keeps the nervous system on high alert. The nervous system generates more sabotage behavior. Hendricks called this loop the upper limit problem in his 2009 book, The Big Leap, and he described it as the single greatest obstacle to human fulfillment. Not external circumstance, not lack of talent, not bad luck. The internal ceiling we build and then crash into over and over until we consciously choose to raise it. The good news, and there genuinely is good news here, is that this loop has an exit. It is not easy, but it is specific and it is learnable. So what do you actually do with this? 3 things. First, name the pattern in real time. When you notice yourself creating chaos, avoiding the call, or numbing out right before something good, stop and say out loud, I am upper limiting. That single act of labeling activates the prefrontal cortex and begins to interrupt the automatic response. Dr. Matthew Lieberman's 2007 study at UCLA, Putting Feelings into Words, showed that affect labeling reduces amygdala activation. Naming the emotion neurologically dials down the threat response. Second, expand your identity before you expand your achievement. This is the order almost everyone gets backwards. Most people wait to feel worthy until after the win. But the brain needs the updated identity script first. Journaling specifically around the question, what kind of person would naturally have this result? And writing from that perspective rewires the self-concept faster than achievement alone. Third, and this is where working with an actual structured framework changes everything, use a cognitive behavioral approach to challenge the core beliefs driving the loop. I have been recommending BetterHelp to this community for a while now because it uses CBT frameworks exactly matched to this kind of deep-seated belief restructuring. If you have been watching yourself blow it right before the finish line repeatedly, this is not a content problem. It is a wiring problem, and CBT is one of the most evidence-backed tools we have for rewiring it. You can also read Hendricks' original framework in The Big Leap. I will link it below. It takes about 4 hours, and it will reframe how you see every future setback. Do both if you are serious, because awareness alone does not break the loop. Action into the discomfort does. Here is the thing nobody tells you about self-sabotage. The moment you see the system, truly see it, you cannot unsee it. That is both uncomfortable and enormously powerful. Because from this point forward, every time you blow a deadline, pick a fight with your partner the night before a big presentation, or find a reason to slow down right when momentum is building, you will know exactly what is happening. And knowing is the beginning of choosing differently. The loop is not your destiny. It is just your current default. You wrote the code once. You can write it again. If this video gave you a new lens on your own behavior, share it with someone who keeps telling you they almost made it. They need to see this. Subscribe if you want more content that actually goes below the surface of human behavior. We go deep here every single week. Drop in the comments, where do you upper limit the most? Work, relationships, health, or something else? I read every single one. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.